Fire Force's final season is here, and it really has been a while, huh? Long have we waited to see the greatest firefighters in the known universe back in action. I'm actually kind of glad this is the finale too, because some stories simply do not need to be that long, right? But in fiction, character is everything. It's arguably way more important than plot, world, tone, etc, etc. These guys are ultimately the vessels that all that other stuff is told through. And look, this might be a crazy take, but I low-key think Fire Force's cast is just as good as Soul Eater's. But Soul Eater gets the edge for having more time to flesh out its goats. Either that, or it's just been a really long time since I've seen Soul Eater, so you feel me? But there's one hidden goat in this series that deserves way more love than he's gotten so far. Ogun is the most goated goat in all of Fire Force, dog. Peep game. Ogun is a character that has literally shown up in one arc so far, although I'm almost 1000% sure he's coming back this season. I think it's really cool that he was already friends with Shinra and Arthur. In another world, he was main cast, but that's okay. P-Power is like the only one to defend Shinra at the 4th too. Actually, I'm pretty sure Obi the Goat tried to recruit him into Company 8, but they kind of have a stinky, smelly reputation, so it makes sense why he would decline them for a higher ranking company. But it's cool that there's never any bad blood between them at the end of the day. Everybody's still on the same, you feel me, Fire Force, even though some of them be having beef with each other. But at the end of the day, Ogun is out of that beef, but I'm cool with everybody. This man is sauce incarnate though. Check me out. This dude skates on a flaming hoverboard, makes flaming weapon constructs out of fire, and has beautiful locks. What more could you ask for? Fire Force probably has one of the most creative power systems I've seen, because literally how is it possible to give everybody the same basic ability of fire manipulation and actually make it interesting and super detailed? This series as a whole is one of the greatest displays of firebending I've ever bore witness to. And of course, there's his whole highlight of this series so far, his star-studded signature move, and probably why he's the ace of his company, Flamey Ink. Side note of Doom, Flamey Ink on its own is just a fire name for like a signature move, bruh. That's clean, bruh. That's almost as clean as Trouble in Paradise, if you know, you know. This has got to be the greatest install super in the whole series, bruh. Look, the fact that he got a whole ass magical girl transformation sequence was so fire. Literally, this nigga knew he was clean too. He had to hit the double Reed Richards 4 emote, and the glowing fire spirals that span across his whole body is literally peak transformation design. Plus, peep the glowing eyes too. And this ability gives him so much raw power, he temporarily becomes just as cracked as one of the most busted characters in the whole series. He gets an almighty speed boost, a crazy power buff, and I'm pretty sure he becomes way more durable. Not that we could really tell because he was going crazy this whole fight, so there was literally no time for him to show off a heightened level of durability. This entire fight is just Ogun flexing aura, bruh. He was straight doodling on this high-end no move. He was doing all type of WWE super slams and power punches of doom on this motherfucker. Everything down to the little details, like how the spirals on his arm change into a flaming double cross type construct upon impact, is literally perfect. I kind of hope we get more exploration into his relationship with Shinra too. It seems like he's one of the few people that genuinely f with him, and I can already picture the insane type of tag team combos of doom they could have with each other. Hey man, leave it to Okubo to design some of the cleanest, most sauciest, most auraful black characters in anime, bruh. You love to see it. I also really love how Okubo's art style has evolved over the years, and Shonen Ouija actually has a fire video that goes super in depth into how and why his art style changed so much. The general character design of Fire Force is S tier, dog, and yeah, they tend to look similar to each other because they're all in Fire Force company uniforms, but when you peep how each character accessorizes their player build, it genuinely makes them stand out from each other way more. Like Maki with the witch hat, or Arthur with the clean ass hood. Side note, I definitely think Arthur and Maki are some of the best characters in this entire series aside from Ogun, but they ain't really hidden gems the way he is. Everybody knows how high those two are. We all know Maki the GOAT, Arthur the GOAT. Apparently Arthur got some sauce this coming season. I don't know, I ain't read the manga, so oh yeah, also Benimaru the God, but everybody especially knows how cool that motherfucker is. Hey, you know what? F it, man, give me a 2D Fire Force fighting game. Now will that ever happen? Of course not. No. If one of the biggest anime of all time is fighting for its life to get a good game, Fire Force especially is fried. I don't know, man. The whole state of anime games as a whole is just in the dumpster right now, bro. It's so saddening. I do hope that Bleach game is good though. Hey, but hold on, wait. Oh yeah, Naija Stando. So you think I wouldn't notice his name, his moves, his Naija swagger. He's a goat. Ogun being Nigerian is quite literally the cherry on top of this already goated goat, bruh. Also, I'm just now noticing he even has the fire spirals in his irises in his base design, which is such a fun little design choice. Kind of reminds me of Ryuko with the gears in her eyes. I feel like it's kind of impossible to not get spoiled on the ending of Fire Force, or at least a huge part of the ending, but just in case you ain't been spoiled the way I've been, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Suffice to say, I am quite excited for this season. But regardless, I really do hope he gets to turn up again in this final season, because it's literally his last chance to do something again. I think there's no way they introduce a character with this much sauce and stage presence just to never show up again, so there's definitely a good chance. The story clearly stating that Flamey Inc. makes Ogun comparable to the captain of the first, who is also clearly on some crazy f***ery based on the trailer and previous seasons, makes me think they might box too. If they do get a fight, I think there's no way it ends well for Ogun, because this nigga looks like one of the big final bosses. But please let that nigga put up some kind of fight. But also, like, what reason would Company 4 even have to be there during a fight with Company 1 and 8? Like, what? Do you hear that voice crack? Nigga. But like, why would they need to be there during a confrontation between what I'm assuming would be the 8th and the 1st, right? So like, who knows, bruh? At this point, I'm really just chatting, bruh. Also, the captain of the 1st seemingly being a bad guy low-key reminds me of Undead Unluck's little plot twist moment with the, you feel me? I don't know if I want to say it, because if you haven't seen Undead Unluck, you feel me? I'm not trying to just ruin shit for you. This ain't the bird app. But hey, I'm seeing some parallels between Fire Force and Undead Unluck. The gap between season 2 and this final one has been so monstrous though, I low-key forgot most of the major plot points. In fact, all I really remember is character, because character is everything. I still care about this series because of its characters. And also, I have to see how the crazy big spoiler plays out. Cause nigga, what? A 10 out of 10 world means nothing if the characters are boring and forgettable. At least a 1 out of 10 world is still a little more interesting with some Hall of Fame characters in there to spice it up. Not that this series has a bad world by any means, I simply just don't remember most of the details. Hey, we're about to get some of the nuttiest sound design for this season also. The Benimaru bass boomer Doom bars is going down in history. This new season also looks way prettier than the last one, which is a crazy thing to say, because the last one and the one before that was so beautiful. David Production, create a Soul Eater remake and my life is yours. I really want to do a fit highlight for this man Ogun, but it feels a little pointless given that his uniform is the same as everyone else's. But the little wristband thingies he's got are kind of cool. Ogun's just a goat, bruh. Fire Force in general just has an abundance of goats. And yeah, there's also a lot of forgettable characters, but even the forgettable characters have cool character designs at the very least. The woman with the crown, that's also like a blindfold type beat, that's beautiful character design, bruh. Okubo, be in his bag. I'm honestly really curious as to how many people are checking for Fire Force still after like 4 to 5 years long of a gap. Like, I'm sure when crazy hype stuff starts happening, people will check back in. But also, I checked online and the trailer has like 1 million views. So like, look, maybe it's just silent hype. Regardless, Fire Force is back and we are here. We are seated. We're ready, bruh. But yeah, shout out Fire Force and shout out you. It's also 5:38 while I'm recording this right now. Look, is it crazy that nigga just came back from the club? Anyway.
I can't feel my face right now. I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down. Like, got this feeling that I won't come down. Like, got this feeling that I won't come down.